The holiday season may sparkle with joy for some, but for many couples, it's the season of, dare I say it, last straws. In fact, January has actually earned the not so celebratory title of Divorce Month. There's a month for everything, isn't there? And there's a reason why. In fact, there was a 2016 study from the University of Washington that found that divorce filings spike during the holidays, and the quickie divorce and divorce my partner actually rise in areas that people are searching for online. Can you believe that? So, what's really happening beneath the surface when the new year, new beginnings term, does that really mean end of marriage? Something to sit on and think about. And I have the perfect person to talk about that today on Holistically Speaking. Oona Metz. She is a therapist outside of Boston and author of Unhitched, the essential divorce guide for women. And she's also created a national training program to teach clinicians how to lead divorce groups, and even developed a new model of divorce grief because, yes, it is a loss. So I want to dive right into it. Oona, I'm so glad you are here. As a divorcee, and you and I have talked about this before, this is the kind of support we really need. And quite frankly, a book like this is really important, especially coming from someone that is not only a divorcee, but also someone who understands working with people and helping them through it as a therapist yourself. So thanks for being here. I know you do it with honesty, hope, and a little bit of humor, and that's why you're the person for being on this show.
Thank you so much for having me, Hilary. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm so excited to dive into our conversation today.
This is so important to talk about, especially during divorce month, even though this isn't the time when people actually get the divorce because it takes time. It's a process. Sometimes there's reconciliation, which is beautiful, but sometimes we see that we need to go our separate ways. But having the right kind of support is really important. The reason why it's called that is because this might be when a lot of filing's happening, but
That's
it's
right.
usually the spring or even the summer where we actually see it executed. So how do you get through it during that time? How does Oona support people during this process?
I think the holidays are such a difficult time, even if marriage is going well. There's so much stress involved. And for the women that I see in my practice, I have a practice outside of Boston, and I specialize in seeing women going through divorce. And so for those women, they oftentimes hold on through the holidays, by their fingernails.
Yeah.
So they might be thinking about it, and I think especially for women, they think about it for a long, long time before they make the decision to divorce. But they might be thinking about it, and when the fall comes, they think, well, I don't want to disrupt anything for my kids around the holidays, so I'm going to wait till January. And then maybe the holidays are really disappointing or painful in some way. And so once the holidays have passed, then they make the decision. And so just giving people a lot of support during that time, really normalizing what they're feeling, and supporting them to get through it, and also supporting them that they're going to make their decision at their own pace, right? It's not my decision as their therapist to tell anybody what to do, but just to walk beside them as they make the best decision for them.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I remember being in that space of you really want someone to kind of tell you what to do because it just feels
Hmm.
like your world is falling apart.
That's right.
Having a good therapist or a good practitioner or somebody who can support you in this area, a guide by your side, is not a person that's there to tell you what to do because if that's the kind of therapist you're seeking, not the right kind of therapist, right?
That's right.
The ones that are there to help you actually go within and see that you're making the choice yourself because you don't want to take away that agency. So, what would you say to somebody that is maybe just approaching the thought of doing this or is
Mhm.
in process? How would you, as a therapist, really approach that question when they're like, I don't know what to do, tell me what to do? Because I'm sure you've
Mm.
heard that one numerous times.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. And what I say is, I can't tell you what to do. What I can reflect back to you is what I've heard you say.
Mm.
And I've heard you say, that you don't feel supported in your marriage. I've heard you say you feel criticized all the time. I've heard you say you're having health problems, right now that you've never had before due to some chronic stress. I've heard you say that your kids are acting out because of the tension that they're witnessing in your marriage. So I can't tell you what to do, but I can reflect back to you that these are a lot of the things that you've been talking about with me. And this is a very similar position that a lot of women are in. Um, and you're
Yeah.
going to find your own road. It's not an easy decision, and I'll be there right beside you, every step of the way, whatever you decide. And people sometimes say, "Oh, you specialize in divorce. Does that mean you don't believe in marriage?" Oh, I absolutely believe in marriage. I believe in long-term relationship. I believe in love if it's healthy, if it's good for both of the people. And if it's not, then we have to go another way.
Is there a reason in particular why you decided to focus on this area in your practice?
Yeah, so I've been a therapist for 30 years, and in addition to seeing people individually, I was trained as a group therapist. And then when I went through my own divorce almost 18 years ago now, I really wished I had a support group to go to, and there wasn't one. One didn't exist. And so at that point, a little seed got planted in my mind, and I thought, when I get through with this divorce and feel like I'm kind of healed enough, I think I'm going to start my own. And I started my own divorce support group in my practice. And it just filled up immediately. And I started two more, and they filled immediately. And all three of those groups are still going today, 15 years later. They're so gratifying to run because you really see this incredible connection between the members and a huge gains. People feel so much better after they've been in the group when they get the support that they need.
One thing that I've noticed, because I do group as well, is that even though we're holding space for people and supporting them and actually being the guide, and sometimes the moderator, sometimes just the mediator in these groups and leads, we're also finding something that helps us because we're forever
Mhm.
healing.
Absolutely.
Maybe something you didn't touch on
Right.
while you were going through your process, but
Mhm.
have you seen that happen a lot just when you're leading these groups?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's similar in some ways to reading your favorite book over again, over and over again, and you get a little something new from it every time, or something hits you in a slightly different way. There's so much healing that happens in that room. It's not that I'm immune to that healing.
It's a lifelong process,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, yes.
So, as a divorcee and also a therapist, and now you have this book, Unhitched, the essential divorce guide for women. Being a therapist for 30 years, why did you wait until now for this book to happen?
Well, I've been busy. But that is partially true. I mean, I
Mhm.
was, parenting, heavy duty parenting, and running my practice. And it takes a really long time to write a book, and takes a lot of hours of the day. But I did finally get to the point. My youngest was going off to college, and I finally got to the point where I almost felt like I was like hoarding ideas in my head, or these insights in my head, because every time I led a group, I would think, "Oh, that's a really good thing. Oh, I should write that down. Oh, would be a great thing to put in a book." And I finally decided, boy, I better write all this down so I can think about something else. But but also because I think the support groups were so incredibly helpful to the people that are in them, and I just want to reach a wider audience. Like I know in my heart of heart that this book is really going to help women who are navigating divorce, and I just want more people to be able to experience it than the people who are in my practice. So,
Yeah, it's a companion guide for those who just can't have Una in their pocket, basically. Yeah, I mean,
right.
we can't be everywhere at once, which is why you also have this beautiful certification program, this program where you are
Mhm,
supporting other clinicians to kind of
mhm.
be an Una on the side,
Right.
right?
That's right. That's
And
right.
what was your thought to that? So, working with other clinicians, you want them to follow this model?
I do. I'm based in Boston, and my
Mm.
groups are in person. And I had, for many years, I've had a long wait list. And when my
Mm.
wait list got to be over 60 people waiting, and some people waiting for a year to get into the group, I decided enough is enough. I can't make people wait this long. It's,
Mm.
people are in a really tough spot and they need support now. They don't need to wait for a year. So I thought, and there weren't any other groups in Boston. So I thought, well, if I train people and then hand them over the referrals, then they can start their own groups. It'll be good for those therapists. It'll be good for the people on my waiting list, and we can get more groups started. And so we have gotten more groups started, and those groups are running today. And we have groups in New York and Texas and Massachusetts. So it's been a really great model.
You mentioned that you do these in person, obviously.
Yes.
So I imagine all of these other groups, are they also doing them in person?
Some of them are online and some of them are in person.
What's the benefit for you for being able to be in the room with those that you're supporting?
Oh, I love being in the room with people. I feel like I can pick up so much communication from people's
Mhm.
body language that I might not be able to pick up on Zoom. And I like to see who's looking at somebody else, which is hard to do on Zoom. I like to see whose foot is kind of nervously, shaking. And you might not see that on Zoom, but if I see it in person, then I can say to them, hey, I notice your foot. And what is your foot telling us?
What does the foot have to say besides, I want to kick that person out of the
Right,
house?
right.
I mean, there has to be
Yeah,
a little humor in the process.
absolutely.
Divorce, when you're like right in the heat of it, as both of us know, and many of the listeners and those who tune in, even on YouTube, there are points where you are just down in the dumps. And then there are points where you're sharing a glass of wine with a girlfriend and you laugh about something in the process. I know I've been there. But,
Yeah,
I think community is a big thing, the sisterhood,
the
the
sisterhood is so
yeah,
important. It's
we
so
need
important.
that.
Yeah. In my groups, there's more laughing and more crying than in any other sessions that I lead. And, I think women come to me, when they first come to me, they say, Oona, how is it possible that so many marriages end in divorce and I don't know anyone going through it right now? And I do think that there's something about being able to talk to other people who are going through it, that they get it in a way that your very supportive, loving friends and family who aren't going through a divorce just may not get it in that same way.
So with that question that you're asked, how would you answer that? How do you answer, Una, why are so many people going through divorce? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, about why they are going through
Mhm.
divorce? Um, well, what's weird is that the divorce rates are actually the lowest they've been in
Yeah.
decades, except for gray divorce. Gray divorce is skyrocketing, but regular divorce is really the lowest it's been. But I think marriage, I think it's hard. I think marriage is hard, and I think it's also very hard to predict when you're in your 20s or your 30s what your marriage is going to be like, or what you're going to be like, or what your spouse is going to be like in 20 or 30 years. And I'm really committed to redefining divorce, not as being a failure, but as being a restructuring of a
Mm.
family. And, for people to be able to say, like, we gave it a good run. Like, 20 years together, that's great. And I think that's having a 20-year marriage and then restructuring your family. That to me is more successful than staying in a very unhealthy, unproductive marriage for a long, long, long time, till death do you part.
And doing it in a healthy way too. I mean, there are
Yes.
tons of people from our parents to our grandparents to
Yes.
ancestry and years before that stayed in something because it was the right thing to do. And there
Right.
was a lot of negative stuff that sometimes happened within those relationships that you turn
Yep.
the other way,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
But I think in this life between the bookends, this time we have, you deserve to be happy,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
A big thing that comes up, that feeling of
Mhm.
failure comes up.
Yeah.
So, what would be your thoughts to folks that are on the edge of like, I don't know what to do, but I just don't want to be judged by this? What would you say?
Right. I mean, I think there is still some shame and stigma associated with divorce, and I am hoping that in my lifetime we will see that just go down, 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 because I don't think that there should be shame and stigma associated with divorce. You know, in terms of feeling like a failure, one of the things that I see in working with women is that I think women are really so socialized to be in relationships, to keep relationships working, to maintain the family. And so I often reflect to them, like, you can't ride a bicycle built for two by yourself, right? If your spouse is on the back seat, kind of, carrying a cement block, you know,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like, is it really? I mean, so many people that I see have tried so hard to save their marriage in so many ways. And so, just again, reflecting back, like, let's look at all the things you've done.
Every relationship has its time. Some will last a lifetime, and that's great, but some just have their, what they say, their moment, their season, or their lifetime, right?
That's right. That's right.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about Unhitched, the essential divorce guide for women.
Mhm.
What can people expect from this book?
Well, there are a lot of books out there that are kind of a financial guide to divorce or a legal guide to divorce, or they're written for men and women, or they're written about a very specific kind of divorce, like infidelity or narcissism or something like that. There really aren't any books out there right now, any current books that are written by a therapist for women who are getting divorced that talk about the emotional journey. And so in the book, I really take you through the very, very beginning, like making the decision to get divorced or having that decision placed on you, through all of the different steps. And I take you through all of the different emotions that might come up and then how to manage them. There's also a lot of practical tips in there. So I'll take you from the very beginning of making the decision or having the decision made, through telling people, through telling your kids, through deciding what you're going to do in terms of where you're going to live, how you're going to co parent, um, and then really establishing new boundaries for yourself, thinking about your identity, and then all the way to like dating after
Mm.
divorce. I intersperse the practical tips and the emotional pieces with stories of women, and they're all composites from my practice. So they're all anonymous. Nobody would be able to identify themselves. They're all a mix, but they're all very real life stories, because I think women who are getting divorced often feel so isolated. And I
Mm.
think they need to hear stories of other women who've done it and real life stories. And so I put tons of real life stories in there that they can relate to. And then also I splice in exercises throughout so that they can really have a chance to like reflect, like, what was your marriage like, and what worked and what didn't work, and what do you want your life to be like now, and how do you want to renegotiate your boundaries. And people can do the exercises or not do the exercises or save them for later, but it just gets them thinking and learning and growing, because I do believe that divorce is really an opportunity to learn and
Mhm.
grow and heal, in addition to being like heartbreaking, horrible, and stressful.
Coming out on the other side of it, you're
Yeah,
stronger. I mean, I had
absolutely.
a conversation with my brother about this very thing in my divorce. In all transparency, I've been married twice, but
Hmm.
my second divorce was not a positive situation. My first divorce was amicable. I remember him saying to me, he said, "Think about where you're going to be in a year from now, 5 years from now." And in the moment, I'm like, "Shut up! You don't know what it feels like."
Right,
Meanwhile, I'm talking to a divorcee,
right.
and yes, it's not a
Hmm.
sister that I was speaking to, but it
Hmm.
felt so. I felt so like connected and heard when he said that to me, but I
Hmm.
also felt like, what do you don't know what you're talking about too,
Right.
because you're in the hurt. But I remember a year later, after I had the courage to walk away from something that was really not positive and toxic, I said, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm,
You were right.
mm-hmm.
When you're in it,
Right.
it's hard to see it
It
when you're on the
is.
other side of it.
Yeah.
And friends said that as well.
Yep.
I got that from girlfriends that are, they just were the ear to listen to. They put a hand on you or a hug. Whoever you have that's in your circle that's healthy boundaries.
That's healthy. Yeah.
Leaning on those people plus, getting support in a professional manner can be very helpful. So if that's you, I suggest grabbing this book, Unhitched, The Essential Divorce Guide for Women. It's kind of like having Oona in your pocket, going to one of her group sessions. Or just, it could be a book club book when you think about like other women going through divorce to read it together.
Absolutely. I mean, we do have a book club coming up on, I think it's February 24th with Fresh Starts Registry. That's free, and people can go read the book and come, and I'll answer any questions they want.
That's amazing.
But I would love to show up at a book club either in person if it's nearby or on Zoom.
The thought of that, of just that support, and then having something to reference.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much a guide and a book for everything, especially now. So it's good to see more possibilities. And again, we'll put all of that in the notes of this podcast episode on Unhitched, The Essential Divorce Guide for Women by Oona Metz, who is a therapist outside of Boston for 30 years as a clinician. We'll also add some other information so that you can get in touch with her, and really the free resources you have. There's a lot of those on your website as well. So we'll share that as well. I know your time is very valuable, so I want to use this time to play a little game with you that I do with my guests. It's called the Brain Candy Game. This is a rapid fire.
All right.
And I'm going to throw out a word that you've said during this conversation. And I want you to come back with the first word that comes to mind.
Okay.
All right.
Fun.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. First word is stress.
Divorce.
Support.
Therapy.
Marriage.
Can work.
Failure.
Delete.
Ooh, that's good. And I like that. Family.
Love.
Divorce.
Healing.
Grief.
Necessary.
And unhitched.
Buy it.
Buy it. Oh, okay. I like you're your own saleswoman. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. Love that. And that's a fun game because when you think about like what are the words that really come to mind when you are sharing your truth, really, I mean, words have power,
They
right?
absolutely do.
And I want to ask you one more thing, and that is as part of my Hug It Out method, which is in the healing, there is humor, understanding, and gratitude towards self.
Yes.
Give me one word that defines you as far as like, what's humorous about Oona?
Oh, what's humorous? I can be very goofy.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. There's a straight-laced therapist, but then I have a feeling there's this side of you that I haven't witnessed yet.
I love to laugh. I really do. And I try to bring humor at appropriate times into my work as often as I can, because I really think humor is a connector. So I love it.
Oh, that's good. So humor is a connector.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes.
Perfect. What is something that you understand about yourself that you didn't understand earlier in life?
That things that appear to be upsetting or failures or difficulties can really end up being transformational and positive.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is one thing you're grateful for about who you are?
I'm grateful that I took the time and the effort and the energy to write this book. It wasn't easy to do it in addition to my practice, but I really persisted, and I'm really proud of myself that I did it. And I just know it's going to help people, and I can't wait to hear from people about that.
Amazing. So one more thing, if you had a walk-in song that was like your empowerment song, what would that be for Oona?
Oh gosh. What's that Kelly Clarkson song?
Oh, Independent Woman?
Yes.
The Independent?
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I listened to that a lot during my separation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Well, are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with those who are tuning into Holistically Speaking?
No, I think just that it's such a pleasure talking to you, and I feel so connected to you, and I love your hug it out method, and really wish you the best, and I really appreciate you having me on the podcast.
Oh, you're more than welcome, and we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Sharing our experiences and our expertise and just being human.
Yep. Yeah.
It's hard. Sometimes it's really hard.
Hard but great. Hard but
Yes.
great. Yes.
Yes. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
parts of it.
Right.
Thank you so much, Oona.
Thank you.
How are you choosing to hug it out with yourself in this new year? What are you doing for yourself to create the space for humor, understanding, and gratitude? If you or someone you know is going through a divorce or a separation or is really struggling to make a decision in a relationship that's not working for them, I highly recommend you pick up Oona's book, Unhitched, the Essential Divorce Guide for Women, and see if she has a group in your area. We talked about how she has trained a number of clinicians around the country who are providing these group experiences and support for women going through divorce. Maybe there's one in a city near you. And you can also join me for my monthly Havening Happy Hours, my online free group community and experience that puts the power of neuroscience in your hands and healing as well. You can register for the next one in the notes of this podcast. And of course, I'll have everything about Oona and her book and her groups as well. Music for Holistically Speaking is provided by Lipone Redding. With love and devotion and support from you, you're the reason why I continue to press record. And I leave you with this powerful quote from Coco Chanel that I remember reading when I was going through my divorce. And it really embodies the hug it out way. Don't spend time beating on a wall, hoping it will transform into a door. In other words, it's okay to walk away from people, places, and experiences that no longer serve you. But no matter what you choose, you are supported and you are brave. And know that I love you, I believe in you, and I'm sending hugs your way. Be well.
I know the girl with mountains